Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of our City of Mist campaign, The Reaper Soldiers. This is Mr. JP Stilts and I don't know my name, that's completely fine. It's been about a week and a half, so excuse me for losing my tongue there. But I'm very happy to be back with three of our players. We are joined with William, Eric, and Georgie, and we're coming back in a little bit, it's a late at night. Last session, there was a bit of a situation in the streets. Duncan, the thought-to-be dead husband of Yasmin, showed up. He had a letter from this Samuel individual trying to have a deal with Yasmin. The party kind of split after a little bit as Georgie and Eric discussed with Yasmin kind of what all this meant. Yasmin wanted nothing to do with Duncan. Having recently dealt with her father, seeing what he was, she only saw Duncan as another tool being used by Samuel, not anything that she wanted to trust. So while Georgie and Eric kind of stuck around the headquarters, William took Duncan and was followed by Mike. In the headquarters, after reading the letter, Yasmin decided it might be a good idea to try to find out who this individual was that was mentioned in the letter. Eric and Georgie were doing the same thing. Found out that Mother Nora knew who this person was, that it was someone she was caring for, one of the many pregnant women that were there. There was a bit of a investigation within the room, bit of a confrontation with a few of the women, and eventually a conversation with Mother Nora, who reluctantly confirmed who this person was, a young girl, 19-year-old girl named Willow Hayes. She didn't say exactly how she was tied to the symbol, only that she felt like this girl was in danger. The danger now being Yasmin looking for her, not knowing if Yasmin would actually be able to protect her, if she was in the right mind to be able to keep her safe. So she tasked Georgie and Eric to take this girl, to find a safe place for her, and make sure they are always watching over her. Georgie strangely offered for her to come live with her at the boarding house, the Rubble Square in the Blue Collar District. They use a distraction by Eric to smuggle her out of the house and out of the district itself. The boys, well, there was a bit of a meal. William got hungry and Duncan just tasted oh so good. He wanted to make sure that he saved him for later, so he knocked him out, tied him up in the basement of a pub. A few constables showed up, kind of wondering what's going on, and noticed that Mike was not really feeling very well, so they ordered a wagon and took them over to Dr. Timothy, who was willing to have a look at our friend Mike. Unfortunately, he looked a bit too far, and with a flash of green light, disappeared from the room. After having a very long day for each of you, you all have either begun to go home or are back at your place. Eric.
Yes.
It's been a long day. You're making your way kind of after sending Georgie off on probably a card or something like that, one of the taxis to head home. You decided you probably need to get home as well. It's been a long day. You've experienced a lot of changes within yourself. You haven't checked in on your father for a bit, and honestly, no matter how much adrenaline's been running through your body, like, you just are starting to feel sapped.
Yeah.
As you kind of get towards your district, it's about 10 o'clock at night, 60s. There's probably a few of the younger men still outside, having a drink, doing what they do. But you notice that your brother's standing out of the entrance that kind of leads into your apartment, your townhouse kind of building. He sees you coming and kind of waves and begins making his way over to you.
Hey. Best I can muster.
Where have you been?
It's kind of a long story. It's about that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You okay? Wait, what? What do you have around your waist? You look down, you realize you're still wearing Marin's belt with a grappling hook and a whole bunch of grenades and some needles.
Yeah.
Is that for the show?
No. I take it off and kind of like sort of try to fold it up or bunch it up and sort of slip it under the jacket that I'm wearing. No, it's really a long story. But it's not mine. We're looking for somebody. There's a lot going on.
Walks close to you and kind of puts his arm around you. Yeah, you look like you need your rest. Look, you can't sleep yet, though. He wants to speak. It's time.
Okay. All right. Give me just 1 second to collect myself, and I'll be there.
Eric, have you ever had a conversation with Horace before?
No, not really. It's usually been letters and notes passed down.
Martin was kind of your entrance into all of this. He got involved after the lake, and a lot of people asking questions. I mean, you all were there. You probably from the roofs and definitely the higher floors, you all witnessed the change in the landscape in just a matter of a day. Nothing there to an entire lake. Now only really a stone's throw across the river from where you're at. So a lot of people were asking questions. You got involved after you realized that your abilities were becoming a bit more enhanced. And the key thing was, look, just see what's going on. So do you go inside and kind of pack your stuff away? What do you do to get ready?
Whoops, sorry. I thought I was muted when I wasn't, and then I muted myself. I am going to kind of just like sort of make myself like vaguely more presentable, because I'm probably covered in dirt and blood and God knows what all. Soot, who knows, just a bunch of junk. So I'm trying to make myself at least slightly presentable in that way, because I don't know this guy, and this is kind of big for a first meeting. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So so once I get myself sort of neatened up, sort of straightened up, kind of splash some cold water in my face to bring myself a little bit more awake. I am going to bring the handbook with me, the Keeper's Handbook that I got, and I think that's about the only big thing that I have to bring with. But yeah, I'm just spending some time in there doing that, tuck that book in my pocket, and get ready to go back out.
All right. As you kind of exit, Martin snuffs out a cigarette, kind of looks, and he like tries to freshen you up a little bit, pulls your collar straight, probably brushes your shoulder off a little bit, doesn't really say much. His persona changes a bit from brotherly to business, and you've seen him act this way when dealing with producers and all that on the show, so you're not all that unfamiliar with that.
Right.
Grabs you and begins to guide you away from where the homes are, the little block that you're on, kind of down the streets, and leads you to a small temple. It's one of the smaller churches in the district. It's what's the name of this? Sure, we'll just call this I don't know. I can't even think of a good name. So it's just a smaller. It's a temple. Inside, there's probably enough seating for about 100 people. But off to the side, you have a few of those. Again, I am not a Catholic person, but a few of those boxes, private boxes.
Confessionals.
Yep, there you go.
I am a Catholic. Well, was a Catholic anyway.
Right, there we are. So there's two confessionals over to the side. You can see that there is a figure sitting in one of them. A bit of the candlelight is flickering back behind. You have the smell of incense as you walk in. There's no one else here. Martin directs you to go and enter.
Okay, I will do so. I'm just going to march right in too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I should be suspicious or wary, but I don't have the energy.
Right.
So I just go right in.
As you go to slide the kind of lattice door closed and take a seat, it's a very worn seat, and there's been a lot of people in here. You can see the figure kind of turn to look through you. You can see the vague outline of kind of a thinner man. He either has shaved hair or no hair, bald. Definitely appears to be wearing a darker priest kind of robe, high collar on it. You can't really see any discerning features on the face. It's a bit too dark and the light shining back behind him. It is good for you to join. You have been busy, my brother has said.
Yeah, to put it mildly.
Well, Eric, there are many concerns with the ongoings in the slums. Your brother mentioned you have been down there recently. What is it you can tell us of that place?
Well, it started with plague, which I think everybody knew about. They started trying to close off the slums so the plague wouldn't spread. So me and several other members of the order decided to investigate to see if we could get to the bottom of it. Turns out there was a... Refresh my memory, did we ever actually use the word vampire when we were doing research on that? Or just like a beast of darkness?
Just, beast of darkness.
That's a slang term. I don't appreciate that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend your people there, Spoon.
Blood challenged.
There was some kind of creature of darkness who had been slain and thrown into the well, and it was poisoning everything, but we were able to remove that. However, this gang, I suppose you might call them, the Sova from the slums, were not happy with it. They had access to clean water. They were giving it out to people in order to build up like the people's support of them by providing them with water. So when we, gave fresh water to the whole of the slums, they were not happy. We thought that they were just being selfish and just trying to do a greedy power grab, but looks like they were trying to build support because there's an even darker force at work in the slums, or who has been working in the slums, by the name of Samuel Valtira. And he has been apparently raising the dead for quite some time. He's looking for a particular birthmark, and no one is really sure why. But the slums have been under siege almost since we cleared up their water supply. And there's a momentary truce, as I think this Samuel character is coming up with some other scheme, some other game, because brute force isn't working for him.
He takes a moment, breathes, listening to your words. You can see his head kind of nodding along as you speak. tasked with helping. That is good. That is good. What can you tell me of those you serve with?
It's kind of a hodgepodge of people. There's a garbage man. There's a guy who I don't even know what he does, but apparently he's incredibly strong and fast. There is a woman who works at a clothes shop, I believe, in another district, who has some sort of affinity for plants and plant-related things. Who else? There was a woman who we never saw her true face. Quite the sorceress. As to the people giving the orders, I've really not had much experience with them. I met the first one. Thalia Justice is her name. She's head constable, chief of police. I'm not really sure what her title is. I mean, Eric knows it because he was at the police station. But
Chief Inspector.
Chief Inspector. So she's the chief inspector. She seems to be running things, at least for this crew, this subset of the crew. Anyways, she is no nonsense and a little bit concerned about how far she seems willing to go in order to do what she thinks needs done.
So they have their fingers on the pulse of the entire city, it seems.
From what I could tell. I mean, my exposure's still relatively limited. We've been rather busy with the situation in the slums, but it certainly seems that way.
You know why your brother joined. You know what we are looking for. What have you learned about the incident? The incident of the lake.
I still don't know enough about that. I've been trying to actually gain trust within the organization before I start asking those kinds of questions. I think some of the people that I'm with were in some way part of that, but I don't know any details as to the extent and as to what actually happened down there.
Explain, members. Why do you think that those that you know may have been involved?
Just an offhand comment here or there. Nothing more than that.
Eric, do you believe that these men and women you serve for, they are good for the city? Or are they things? There are many witnesses that claim to have seen members of this order with their badges committing crimes and seeming to get away with it. You say that they are being directed by Chief Inspector of the city. It's very concerning. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I can't speak for the order as a whole. I think that the people that I have been working with thus far don't seem to be that bad. But I haven't really had enough exposure to them on a long scale. It's been kind of a whir, but I haven't seen anything too concerning. And he's kind of it might be evident if Horace is a bit of a people reader, but it might be kind of obvious that Eric's holding back just a little bit because he doesn't really know what to say about William.
Right.
However, as far as the organization as a whole goes, well, I haven't had much of an opportunity to look into this myself, but I got a book belonged to one of their members, a higher up. I brought it with me if you'd like me to pass it through or something like that.
Yes.
Like I said, I haven't had a chance to see it myself, but you might find some use in it.
Yeah, there's a little latch that it's probably just for him to pass, I don't know, communion or something through. He slides it open and kind of sticks you can see it's old, wrinkled hand, kind of a bit darker skin, just looks very aged.
Okay, I slide the book over under, however that goes.
He takes it and briefly just looks at the cover. There's a satisfied kind of groan, and he places it in his lap, closes the latch back, and turns back. You've done very good work, but there is still more to be done. You say that there are this man, this Samuel. He seems he might be danger for more than just the people of the slums.
I agree.
Do you see that danger spreading here to our home?
It hasn't yet, but that doesn't mean that it won't. He seems specifically to be looking for people who were in the war, or those are the ones that he has a particular interest in. I think that he was a veteran himself, possibly.
Yes.
But so far, he's only been messing with the Silva and the other people in the slums. But if he doesn't get what he wants there, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't expand out.
What does he want? What is he looking for?
There is apparently he's looking for. When we first discovered what he was doing, he was looking for birthmarks of a certain kind, to the point where he would have his creatures kidnap people and cut the marks off of their bodies to show to him, and he had not found it yet. This mark, whatever it is that he's looking for, it's been described as blah. I give the description.
Right.
Because I know we did get a description of what he was
Yeah.
looking for. I just
Yeah.
don't remember it.
It kind of looks like a mixture of a sunray and a spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything to you?
It takes a moment. No, I'm not familiar with that symbol. You say he is interested in the veterans as well. What have you learned of this war? We still ponder how there can be so many veterans, but no history, no recollection of this strange, forgotten war. Is this something the Order has done?
I wish that I could tell you. I don't know. I've only met a couple of veterans, and they all have the same foggy memory as anyone. They wear their uniforms as a matter of pride, but they don't even remember what they're proud of it for.
I see. Son, you have done well. This book will give us guidance, but there is much more for you to do. We have contacts of our own high in the government that are preparing charges against members of this order. They are looking for evidence. Many crimes have been done under the safety of this strange organization that they must be held accountable for. If you think that members of the order were involved in the lake, evidence for that would be greatly useful. I must ask you, find all you can about this lake and about those who give the main orders. Keep your head down and be safe, though. The work you're doing in the slums, it is appreciated. As you know, keeping those dangers from our door is as important as stopping these people from continuing to do crimes unabated. You are a blessing for our society, Eric. We do appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you. I feel like I don't have enough, but I'll keep trying.
You have brought more than we have been able to find ourselves. With this knowledge, we will be able to shine a light in the darkness to find where the truth really lies.
That's all I need. Truth.
Is there anything you need from us?
My father, you probably heard from my brother, he's been injured. I don't know if there's any assistance you can provide, even if it's just to maybe I don't know what connections you have, but if some pension or something from his work, something that can keep the family together, keep us, fed. I'm doing what I can, but there's a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of danger on the horizon, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to provide for them.
There are new developments coming through from the Emerald Lake. Bids are being placed for the building of these houses. There are a few individuals I could reach out to so that they can hold a spot, and I believe Martin might have some time available to serve for your father until he is well. It is a limited position, so it would be vital that someone work your father's place until he can himself. But the money coming through from there will be far beyond what he can earn in the factories.
That would be good.
I will reach out to my contact and have them send notice to your home. Speak with your family, to your father, if he is willing to proceed. Let us know. Have Martin let us know. We will make sure things are put in order.
Thank you.
He offers to do a prayer with you, and again, I'm not sure exactly what prayer that would be, but a prayer of probably protection and safety, probably a prayer of guidance.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, after the prayer's done, just kind of thanks you once more and just sits in silence, allowing you to rest for a moment, but he doesn't wish to expose himself more
Sure.
than he already has.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, after just taking a moment to just sort of sit there and not have anything to do or have anything trying to murder me or having to keep people from being murdered, after a moment of that, I will get up and leave so he can maintain his anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I will start to head home.
That sounds like a plan. So, Georgie, you have returned back to the lovely Rebel Square, the boarding house for a variety of women. Who is the headmaster there? What's her name and what does she like?
There is a widow by the name of Mrs. Baumbridge, and she is often fairly busy with the various upkeep of the house, so she's kind of like, she just kind of flits in and out. She's pretty strict with most of the girls,
Right.
but because of that, like, there's, I guess, not an unspoken, but it's just there's a certain level of respect that we afford her, so that things stay running as smoothly and we can go about our business fairly uninhibited, I should say.
Right.
Basically, we follow her rules and she won't be on our asses about too much.
Right, and it's pretty common stuff. No guests, especially no male guests. Either you have a job or you are actively working to keep the place, doing laundry, cooking, things like that, making sure the place is nice and clean. Things like any kind of alcohol or drug consumption, absolutely not. You must go to church every Sunday. Definitely willing. A lot of the women here they're just from bad circumstances. And so because of that, she's trying to almost push everyone to have a bit of a stronger will to be able to walk out in the light and hold themselves high. But with that comes a bit of, teacher whacking their ruler on the desk, kind of keep your shoulders straight and your nose to the board, and everything will be good. Do you have your own private room? Is it just a large room where everybody has their own bunk? What's kind of the layout of this place?
It is how do I put this? It's like a fairly large, what was recently, or not recently, I should say, what used to be a very, very affluent person's home. So there's a parlor, there's public spaces in the house, but the actual bedrooms, there's maybe 4 smallish bedrooms, and it's generally 2 girls to a room, depending on the size. A little bit bigger ones tend to get 3 or 4, but also depending on I mean, it's not exclusively free. There is a small rent or fee to pay, so it also depends on what they're capable of affording, according to whatever work that they may have found. So for Georgie's space, it is a smaller bedroom, but she only shared it with one other girl, but said girl has since moved out. How convenient! So she probably spent the last week enjoying a space of her own.
Right. Oh yeah.
Till now.
Yeah, and there's probably still a bit of why did I volunteer for this? Willow's been
There's a lot of that.
She's just been silent the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it might not have helped that Georgie's probably just sat there glowering, not at her, but her as a situation, what am I doing?
So yeah, I mean, it's so late at night that almost everyone's asleep. There's probably the one nocturnal woman that sees you, and it's easy to tell again that Willow is just in a bad place, and there's probably a welcoming smile and acknowledgement towards you that not really a good job, but hey, I guess it is a good thing your roommate moved out. You get into your room, kind of show her to her space. She sits down on the bed and kind of just looks around everything. It's a smaller space than she's been. There's now only one woman. It's not multiple. It doesn't have that muck kind of dirty smell that the slums did. It's the blue collar district, so the air's a bit cleaner here. There's a welcoming sound of just life outside, whether it's just horses and carts going by, or the sound of crickets and just nightly sounds that the slums was just so quiet. She kind of presses to her stomach, just kind of looks to you. I don't know if I'll ever be able to thank you for doing this for me, but I promise I will earn my stay here. You tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it.
Since the term coming here with me are that I have to stay with you at all times, have you any experience in needlework?
Only patching up my husband's shirts. Nothing more than that.
Jordy's face is just kind of like blank in accepting it, like, okay. Okay.
But I'm willing to
Well,
learn.
excellent. We start early in the morning, and you'll be coming with me to the shop for the time being.
The shop, the place you work. What is it that you make there?
We make garments. We tailor specifically to, how do I put this? The well-paying crowd. So you have to tidy up your needlework, and we'll see what we can do until we can get you out of harm's way.
There's a smile on her face. The thought of not being stuck in another room, interacting with people and getting outside of the norm is welcoming, but there's still a bit of fear there. You are still a stranger, and she is still in a very strange place. But you both begin to prepare for rest, I would assume, unless you're going to stay up all night gossiping or have any other conversations to have.
No, I think that conversation extent of stretching out whatever energy Georgie had left.
Mm-hmm.
So, some brisk instructions to the bathroom. Here's an extra set of pajamas.
Right.
Go in, wash up.
And she was able to bring her bag, so she has, change of clothes, and it does not. It's definitely old, worn, probably patched herself kind of dresses. Nothing too fancy, but again, she wasn't going anywhere for a while, so there's not really a lot of walking around kind of clothes.
It's okay because still the uniform when she first started.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it still fits. If not, well, here's our first sewing project.
Mm-hmm. So,
yes,
as you both begin to rest, kind of dimming the lantern and allowing the bit of adrenaline still remaining in your body to just flee, your eyes grow heavy and you fall into slumber. Most of the city's slumbering at this time, but not everyone. There's a man walking the streets, recently fed, but still a bit hungry. Remembering he still has that blood bag, and what about Marco? We'll deal with that in the morning. William, you begin passing by the school. It looks just like a prison now. That is not a place you ever want to willingly go back into. That is a place of torture. That is a coffin. There's no life in that place. But there is your home. Your home is still on campus. Begin to make your way towards the door that you've opened so many times. It would feel strange to not return here. It's just been so familiar. But again, that's something to deal with in the future. Just want to get in and, I'm assuming, get to rest. The house is dark. You can hear the light breathing of Jillian in the other room, asleep. There's a smell coming from the oven. You open it and can see that there's whatever her dinner was, a bit of steak, potatoes, a bit of baked bread, still in there, fairly cold at this point. The rest of the house looks freshly clean. You can smell the soap that she used on the laundry. Everything's been dusted and everything's in order. You have a moment to yourself. You just witnessed an old companion of yours disappear in a flash of green energy. The entire day has been a strange sense within you that whatever was granting or gifting you or trying to show you the way has changed. That there's now another voice in your head, and another one granting you your abilities, a one that is certainly hungrier but stronger than the old. So William, as you get home, what is it that you find yourself doing? Do you immediately go to rest as well? Do you find yourself sitting and trying to figure out what life means at this point? What do we see?
I'd probably try to clean up a little bit while, thinking over the day.
Right, yeah, your shirt's got blood on it, so you take it. Do you try to, scrub it out, or do you have, a hidden box where you just put all your bloody shirts?
Yeah, I got a place to put the shirts and
Right.
all the ruined clothes. So I just kind of throw it in there, and then I try to scrub myself down best I can, and
Right.
I guess kind of maybe go have a cigar and a whiskey in the living room or wherever the closest comfy chair is.
Mm-hmm. After a moment, you kind of have a realization. You haven't had a lot of time to think about it. You know that Jillian's pregnant, but you also remember that the doctor was planning to come and take a look for you to make sure everything was on the up and up. Doctor's not here now. And then you come across that letter that the school board is requiring you to come and meet with them on Friday, 3 days' time, because they have some concerns about recent things. And again, what does it matter? Those fools, they don't have to be a part of your life for too much longer. And then you remember Marco. You've never had this before. You've had students, many students. Good students, bad students, strong students, pain in the ass students, students of all types. But Marco doesn't feel just like a student. Yes, he must be taught things, but not in the way you would teach a child. In a way, he must be taught as if you would teach a dog, a pet. What are the first few things that William believes he needs to teach Marco?
Probably how to, feed himself, keep himself from being discovered. The things I had to learn on my own.
Right. So what does that, just taking one of those, feeding himself, you know that there are clearly many ways to do this. You have tasted the blood of mere mortals. You have feasted on the blood of beasts. You have savored the blood of Samuel's risen. And Dr. Timothy even mentioned that there's a bar named Irony, that might have a drink that's able to sate your thirst. Many options to be had here. What direction would you go with Marco?
I'd probably send him to the bar, only to see if it's safe. But I would also teach him about eating animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for him not to be discovered that way.
How do you plan to teach Marco how to restrain himself for the same times you've had to do, when that hunger rises and you are near loved ones or people that you care about, or you're in public and that beast begins to lurch forward? How do you plan to teach him to restrain in those times?
I don't. I'm
Right?
gonna let him figure that one out.
Okay. And now that you've done it, I mean, you haven't really tested him out that much to see what he's capable of. You know that he's clearly loyal, dedicated towards you based off of what he's said. You haven't seen the physical changes on him yet. You might have an idea that takes time. As it did with you. You didn't just awaken one day and have all these abilities. It was a change over a few days. What is the challenge that you see putting in front of Marco, just to see how well he succeeds? How powerful is this being that you've created?
Well, I would probably send him after a few of the like Samuel's lackeys, like the ones that he sent to the church and the like. See if we can find any of those and see what he does in a fight. I don't know how many of those are around though, the undead ones.
Right. Well, you know that he is in the perfect location to be able to find them if they do come. He's already in the Sova, so him going to fight against Samuel and his lackeys would be completely normal. No one would seem to think otherwise.
Perfectly solid plan. Nothing could ever go wrong.
As you start getting down to the nub of your cigar, you feel really, just kind of really good. You have tasted the most immaculate blood you ever have, and not only that, you know that there's now an endless supply of it. You have, in a way, already created a son, and in the other room, you know that you have another child on the way. On top of that, you look around and you see all the historical books and your old papers from school, and you just kind of smile that it's all meaningless. There's not a lot that it's just a good feeling to be free from that monotony. But I do have to ask a question. I'm willing to kind of put this up to the crew. So one of your power tags for the order is the kids. And originally that was created because you kind of had connection throughout your school and throughout the district to use them as your eyes and ears, but recently it doesn't seem like there's been a lot of contact with them. Do you all feel like maybe some elements of the orders or specifically your crew within the order are beginning to crack? I'll ask this: if you look at your identity, the enemy must never prevail. You could absolutely say that, yeah. I mean, you haven't really made any sacrifices to allow Samuel to succeed. You defeated Melville. You are saving districts. But I mean, Eric, you saw what William did.
Yeah.
He killed that boy. Sure, the boy's standing there now, but Samuel seems to be able to do the same thing, kill people and bring them back to the dead. When a crew theme begins to crack, it doesn't mean that the crew is about to split up. It means that what you are as a crew is beginning to change. Right now, you are the Reaper soldiers. You are the light in the darkness, the fighters of the monsters.
I mean, we should be, William. I mean, I do kind of feel like that is getting slightly lost, but also not. It's kind of a weird, like, what it originally sounded like is we're definitely not doing that, but we're still kind of functioning in the same, like, we're still doing the same work. It's just there's a different edge to it now.
Yeah, you're seeing it through your personal lens, that you're stopping the bad guys, but sometimes to stop the bad guys, you have to do bad things to do so. There's gray throughout all of it. Yeah. I would say, because we don't really use the crew theme that much, so I wanted to just bring this up as a reminder that all of those tags, they're still there to be used. You use them once, they're burned just for you. Everybody basically has the opportunity to use them once, but if there's ever a time that it feels like someone is going against your identity or your mystery, again, it doesn't mean that you as a group are going to stop existing as a group. It just means that maybe you're not just monster hunters anymore. Maybe you're something different. So keep that in mind as we kind of continue through the sessions. So as the early morning hours begin, William crawls into bed. The city falls into a slight peace. Georgia, you begin to have a dream. You find yourself stuck in a desolate place. It's like a desert, but it's not hot and dry. It's just barren land. You don't feel the connection of roots or any kind of plant life nearby. Just find yourself wandering. Off in the distance, you can see a bit of light. It looks like as if the sun was beginning to rise, but you look up, the sun's already risen. But there's something at the horizon. You get closer and can see that it looks like a small hill. Again, at the far edge of the horizon, a sharp light, almost like a spotlight, is shining from it, kind of just illuminating the area, this dark brown landscape that surrounds you. Do you approach?
Yes. I do, very tentatively.
As you get closer, you expect for this hill to grow larger, but it doesn't. It stays constant. But you start to feel heat coming from it. Kind of shield your eyes a bit. And you see it's not a hill. Now that you're a bit closer and you can see past the light, it appears to be a stone torso of a pregnant woman. And from her stomach, you can see that symbol. The ray of sun, the spider, shining brightly from it. It seems to be calling to you.
Is it massive?
It, as you get closer to it, it maybe only stands maybe 4 feet up. It looks like, again, the protruding stomach and breast, just the torso of a pregnant woman, getting within 10-15 feet of it. Yeah, it's no taller than you are.
And the mark is on the belly.
It is.
Huh. This is very uncomfortable for her.
You feel a push. You feel
Towards
barren
it.
yourself of you have no connection to the plants. Plants need light. This is giving off light. Whatever is granting you those powers seems to be wishing for you to get closer.
I'll inch towards it to see what happens.
You start to feel a pulsing energy. Almost as if the temperature is rising and lowering by 10, 15 degrees at a time, just up and down. The light is constant. And then you realize it's not just a pulsing, it's a heartbeat.
Gotta reach out and touch it, because nothing's ever gone wrong from touching things.
As you reach to touch this stone, it doesn't feel hot to the touch. It feels welcoming. Immediately you feel this source of power ripple through you, just like you had a dam break and now you have as much liquid and access as you need. You start to notice the landscape around you changes. Grass begins to spread up around your feet and spread out like a rolled carpet in front of you. You begin to think about a variety of flowers, and instantly they grow, not just one or two, but entire fields of them. You think of trees, and a forest is there. This thing, whatever this is a seat of power.
What Okay. As quickly as that all happens, she's just gonna snatch her hand back because that was really, really overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
She can't process it. Not immediately, at least.
Well, there is actually a move in here. Finally, some answers. When you find answers to your mystery, you can choose 1, 2, or all 3. So you can either gain a deeper understanding of your mythos, of the subject of your mystery, or the link between your mystery and your mythos. Or that's what it's saying, sorry. You gain a deeper understanding of your mythos, the subject of your mystery, or the link between your mystery and your mythos. Mark attention on the theme to which the mystery belongs. And then the ones you can choose are either you're shocked by the discovery to the point of rejecting your mythos or an aspect of your ordinary life. You can mark fade or crack on any theme. And then your questions are answered. So choose a new mystery for this theme. So do you choose to get a deeper understanding of your mythos, of the subject of your mystery? Do you find that the realization that whatever this symbol is a seed of power, as something that might reject your mythos or another aspect of your life? And do you have a new mystery that, having learned this information, you find yourself looking for answers to a different question?
Huh. How does one roll for this?
There is no role. It's a completely open choice for you. So you can either, and here, I'll go ahead and just post the actual move in the chat. It's one of those ones. It is in the, I'm not sure if it's on the character sheets, but it is in the book, kind of one of the cinematic moves. So finally some answers. When you find answers to your mystery, choose 1, 2, or all 3. And then those are the 3 options.
Okay. Okay. Can I do, I guess, gain a deeper understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, she's not really sure why she has disability and for what reason. So let's try that one.
Right. So what does this all mean? You know that you're able to create plants, but beyond that, you know, there's a bit. Today you were able to use a plant you found to remove the influence of someone speaking in someone else's mind. You know that you have been able to heal wounds, but beyond that, what good is it? You have seen the others and what they can do. You have seen William and his pure speed and strength. You have seen the same in Mike, and while you shudder at the thought, Mike moves in ways that no man his size ever should, and he wears these strange glasses that seem to allow him to create any weapon he possibly wants. Eric is able to create duplicates of himself. All you can do is create plants. There must be more. There must be more power that's just hidden, unlocked, barred away within you. You just haven't found the right key. You may have just found the right key. You're not sure the full dealings of Willow, but if she's tied to that symbol will grant you access to a life even now you can't fathom. Even looking at Blanche and what she's been able to do, in a way, you can see some of those elements within yourself. Being able to change your face, cast magic spells, be whoever you want.
I don't.
How enticing.
Don't eat the lady.
Delicious.
Lady bad.
Hey,
Or do. I don't care.
They
I'm
say-
just a vampire.
infants are the tastiest.
Oh my god.
I got that from Snowpiercer. Thanks, Chris Evans.
Okay, fair. That's fair. So.
Huh. Alright. Well, that was a weird dream to have about your new roommate,
Right.
but okay.
Yeah, do you find yourself looking to change your mystery or still learning more about what a seat of power actually is?
I want to say, despite not knowing the purpose for the power,
Right.
she does want to see the extent of it. And if this is a glimpse of what it is, she's willing to protect this investment. And by investment, the nice lady named Willow.
Yeah.
Eat her. Eat the lady.
yeah.
Eat the pregnant lady.
No, I gotta wait for the kid to get a little bigger. That's what their
No.
tastiest.
You just gotta eat it all. All of it. Just cook it up, then roast it. It's okay. Do it. Just
Oh goodness.
I'll
Well,
start the fire.
That sense of protection becomes a realization as you start to hear this high-pitched squeal. And at first it sounds like a teapot that somebody's left on. You kind of start to blink yourself away and you realize it's not that. No, it's Willow screaming in agony, her eyes closed, and she has the sheets just pulled up right underneath her chin, just trembling and screaming out into the darkness.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see a few like lanterns get flicked on, like you see the light. You probably start to hear the footsteps of Miss Albridge marching down from her room. See what's going on. Why is there a screaming woman in the middle of the night?
Yes, the best. All right. Gonna just shoot out of bed and grab a sprig of lavender that was on the desk and try to wake Willow up and try and calm her to
Right.
whatever abilities I am within. I keep like whatever I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is definitely a go toe-to-toe moment. See if you're able to wake her out of her fright, get things under control. What tags are you looking to use?
That's the best time to eat her when she's asleep.
No. I need her panics to their adrenaline goes. That's when they say the meat is the best. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Anyways, we're gonna try always prepared. Pretty sure she has lavender just because it's actually pretty good scent for clothes that may have not been washed recently. In conjunction to Pharmaca because it's probably just dried sprigs. And go toe to toe.
Well, I'm gonna have to say emotionally
yeah.
distant.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you still care, but
Just stop,
This is
please.
an annoyance. Yeah, like
Yeah. Please
this is the
refrain.
nice way of me doing something. It may not be so nice if this doesn't work.
This is just... I don't want to get in trouble.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh. Excellent.
And on that note, I'm gonna say no matter if I'm the one, I know in the past we've done things different. Regardless of who does the weakness, whether it's me or you, mark attention for it. We're gonna start leveling up some themes a bit faster, I think.
Oh, okay.
So either way, if a weakness is used, go ahead and mark that attention. All right, perfect. So yeah, you're trying to get her to wake up. You grab a bit of your lavender, kind of go over, force it under her nose, maybe say something. The scream ceases and she kind of opens her eyes and looks at you kind of confused. Why are you over her bed? Before you have a moment to speak, your door swings open and Miss Albridge looks in. What is going on in here? Georgie, who is this? Are you okay?
She's a new girl at work. She's fine. Just a bit of a nightmare. She'll be alright.
What is your name, dear? Willow kind of looks to you. Is it safe
It's
to say?
Willow. Her name's Willow.
I see. Is everything okay? I heard screaming coming from the room.
Yeah, just bad dreams. New place jitters.
I see. Have you told the girl of the rules of the house?
I have. I can't control her when she sleeps. Oh.
Very well. It is quite early. I recommend getting more sleep. Will she be accompanying you to work, or will she be staying here to help around?
She will be coming with me.
Good. I would like to speak with both of you in the morning before you go. Make sure formal introductions are due.
Yes, ma'am.
Sleep well, Willow dear. Perhaps face down in the pillow next time.
Thank.
She turns, closes the door, and begins to stomp back up. Willow sits up in bed. Oh no. I did it again, didn't I? I'm sorry, I don't even know when it's happening anymore. Mother Nora says it was just nightmares, night terrors, she called it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you.
Gonna let out that breath that I was holding the whole time. And just be... I'm gonna push the sprigs of lavender underneath her pillow. Nightmares, you say? Like, what did you see?
Kind of takes a deep breath. It's the same every time. The entire... I don't know if it's the city or the whole world. Everything's on fire. Everything. I try to get away from it, climbing up buildings, trying to get as high as I can, but the fire just follows. It just grows. And I get caught amongst it, and I would swear that I feel the burning. I feel my flesh falling from my bones. I can feel my nerves, just everything lash out. But when I wake, it's just nothing but dark dreams.
When did these dreams begin?
About probably 2 months ago or so. It was right before I went to stay with Mother Nora.
when you found out you were pregnant?
Yeah, right around there. Mother Nora said this can be normal. Mother's with a person growing inside him and all. Things can get a bit strange, she said. So it's probably just my body dealing with, I don't know. It's been a hard couple months.
It's really stiff, but George is gonna reach out and just pat her hand. You're out of the slums now.
She feels like she has a fever.
Awesome. Alright.
You did this to yourself.
She's self-roasting. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Oh, God.
She's getting ready for you.
Oh, snap. Yum, yum.
You already put that lavender. Go ahead and get some sage going as well.
Oh.
Gives that new meaning to that bun in the oven, yeah?
Main course and a side dish. Alright. I'm just gonna motion for her to just lay back down and try to get to sleep. And there should be like a pitcher and a basin just full of water.
Right.
Not. Whoa.
Hello.
It's not the coldest.
That's Thomas's cousin right there.
I'll just grab like a damn cloth to set on her forehead. Maybe it'll help her. I don't know. Ease the discomfort. But does it look like her dreams are physically affecting her?
Would you like to investigate this woman?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
What herbs go
There's
best
something
with
strange in a worldable square. Who are you gonna call? Someone better?
Just me. Alright. So, I haven't done it with people, but I'm gonna take this opportunity to when I press the cold folded rag on her forehead to see if I can read anything off of this contact.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess in a similar way as green speech, but she's not a plant.
Right.
Or is she?
Well, I guess we'll find out with this roll.
I mean,
Yeah.
she could be planted in there to, like take over the. I don't know where I was going with that.
Her name is Willow.
There you go.
She's a person. Okay. Investigate. I'll do ambition and opportunist. Not sure if I could do this, but let's. What do you think?
I'm gonna say that her life is in your hands. Go ahead and add that too, because yeah, it feels like she has a fever, and you're trying to see what's going on.
Is that just like a plus?
That would be a plus 3.
Plus 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh snap! All right, but I think I'm due self-doubt because she hasn't really tried to ever read people like this. Like, cool.
Oh, yeah. It's a good thing we had that.
Wow. All right. Yeah.
Well, you still get 4 questions. Absolutely. Yeah, you have a moment. Part of you has to kind of shake the dream and all of those jitters from you a little bit. So I think that's why maybe some things are coming back a bit not so clear. But yeah, what are your questions?
the dreams and this child she's carrying, are they connected?
They are. But as Mother Nora said, it's kind of normal for pregnant women to have strange dreams. So the child is definitely affecting her and causing the dreams, but the purpose behind it, it's unclear if it's natural or unnatural.
Okay. Guess. Does the child, or is it Willow who bears, I guess, direct influence
Right.
to what we're searching for?
That is a very good question. They both do, but in their own way. They are both connected. But again, it's not quite clear. You don't see, like, you're obviously not stripping her down or anything like that. So you don't really see any markings, but you feel the connection, that it is because of both of them that they are connected to the symbol.
Okay. I guess I'll go back to the original question. Are these dreams physically affecting her?
Yeah, so you feel her, and it definitely feels like she has a fever, but it does not feel like it's affecting her in a bad way. She's definitely running a bit warmer than a normal person would, but she doesn't appear to have any other symptoms. So the nightmares, yes, stressful, and the fever, abnormal, but nothing dangerous that you can tell.
Okay. Okay. Do you guys have anything to ask? Any burning inquiries?
Nope.
No. Just if it's tasty or not.
We'll find out in the next
Are you
episode.
tasty, child?
So I'll give you something here.
The gasp.
So you're looking for connections. Willow is a sleeper. The child is not.
Cool.
You can feel the child is connected to the mist, while Willow is separate from it.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I wasn't sure if I still had a question left, but
If you want to,
no.
yeah, if you have.
I thought you were gonna take that one as the question answered.
If you have another one, I'm not gonna. If you have one in mind, I don't want to steal it from you. But yeah, if not,
It would be. I think it would be too meta if I asked it. It's fine.
Okay.
Do it.
We'll go on
Meta
with
ask
this.
It. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Use that meta. It's okay. That's what it's for. Yeah.
After I eat the baby.
Yes. Eat it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, we are.
Is that your last question? Should I eat the baby?
What side should I have with the baby?
No.
Dear narrator, is mashed potatoes too much?
Okay. So as you kind of help, place the rag on her head, and go to sleep with a bit less clarity on what it all means. I'm gonna say let's take a quick 5-minute break, and when we come back, we will start the morning with each of you having. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know there's definitely some work to be done, some conversations. Somebody's got to write a report. So we'll see what that all means when we come back. So 5 minutes.
I'm above that now, so.
Okay.
Okay.